it feels. We'll show you the extremely rare catch a fisherman reeled in Florida.
I've been dreaming of catching one of those since I was a little kid.
And how corn sweat makes extreme heat feel even hotter.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Well, good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Eileen Whalen. Well, earlier this morning, Tropical Storm Erick strengthens into Hurricane Erick, and it is expected to further strengthen later today. The storm is now packing 75-mile-per-hour winds and is already bringing heavy rain to Mexico's Pacific coast. Now, all schools in the region are closed today, and more than 580 shelters are ready to receive people who evacuate their homes. Hurricane and tropical storm warnings are posted for the coast, where up to 20 inches of rain could fall. Now, Erick is expected to make landfall tomorrow morning, not far from the resort city of Acapulco. Now, you may recall the town was devastated by the Category 5 Hurricane Otis just 2 years ago. Well, more than 53 million Americans face the possibility of severe storms today. The Storm Prediction Center issued a level 3 out of 5 risk for the area that you can see here in orange. That includes Indianapolis, Louisville, and Toledo, Ohio. The area in yellow, which stretches from Detroit to Dallas, has a slightly lower risk. Now, these storms could produce damaging winds, isolated hail, and even a few tornadoes. And then tomorrow, the storm risk shifts east, impacting North Carolina to Maine. Well, one of Indonesia's most active volcanoes, Mount Lekai, erupted on Tuesday, sending a massive ash cloud over 30,000 feet into the air. Now, the smoke and ash could be seen 90 miles away. The eruption delayed flights in and out of the popular tourist destination of Bali. Now, the country's volcanology agency issued its highest alert level as authorities monitor the fallout. There have been no reports of death or major injury. Now, more families are impacted by last week's deadly floods in San Antonio, and they're sharing their stories of loss, fear, and resilience. Taylor Whartonby has more from those people whose homes were so badly damaged.
I just didn't even think about it. I just went in, saved my dogs, tripped all the breaker just so my son's safe up there, went back up, then I thought to myself, like, I could have died that night.
Navy veteran Jonathan Clemento considers himself lucky. His house on Daca View near Heath and Grissom flooded on Thursday.
We were very close to death as well in our own homes. Thinking about that, being electrocuted with water, knee-high, worried about tripping all the breakers and stuff, could all been prevented.
His family's belongings all gone in an instant, including his vehicle, which he uses to take his 7-year-old son with autism to therapy.
Everything we do is for him, and this home is for him. Like I said, it was taken away quick.
Clemento's neighbor, Brad Nevels, was at the VA hospital that morning when he got a call from his wife saying first responders couldn't get to her.
I got into my car, drove back around the back way of Heath Road, and basically got to the flood line and got out of the car and pretty much got in chest-deep water, swam to a fence, jumped a few fences, and then just hugged the house line until I got to my house. So this is our drain right here for our neighborhood. As you can see, this is the type of brush and debris that builds up over time.
We took their concerns to District 6 Councilwoman Melissa Cabello Haverda. She sent us a statement saying her office continues to work with Public Works and the city's stormwater team to identify problem areas, improve drainage infrastructure, and ensure debris is cleared ahead of major storms.
Well, in Pittsburgh, a group of Girl Scouts were rescued after sudden floodwaters trapped them in a park. Jessica Gway has their story.
100 Girl Scouts were getting ready for lunch at their pavilion in North Park when things quickly took a turn.
It started raining really hard. It was crazy because it just started pouring. It just came pulling down like a curtain of water on yourself. What the heck is happening?
The nearby creeks started overflowing.
I was freaked out. I hate exactly what I'm scared of thunderstorms.
The group of Girl Scouts became stranded due to the flash flooding.
There was water everywhere, and we looked over, there was water in the parking lot flooding over the road. And so we quickly grabbed all of our food and walked up to the cabin, and then we just got evacuated from there.
Firefighters, police, EMS, and swiftwater crews showed up to help. They had to deploy a rope to help get all the girls to safety. Allegheny County officials say no one was injured. Parents are breathing a sigh of relief. Their children are home safe and dry.
They were in good hands. I was never worried because I know that the Girl Scout organization is a really good organization.
Very happy that everyone's safe, and yeah, they had an adventure to tell.
Oh, they will remember this for years to come.
Well, humidity levels already high in many parts of the country are expected to soar even more across the states in the coming days and weeks. And we are talking extreme levels of humidity, making it feel like you're in a tropical rainforest. Meteorologist Will Stafford explains how humidity is measured and why it's a much better way to represent how it actually feels outside.
So let's take this for example. When you head out the door in the morning and you've got a, say, 90-degree air temperature outside, if your dew point temperature is 69 degrees, it's going to feel rather sticky and honestly uncomfortable outside to you. But it's a little deceiving because if you look at a weather app and your relative humidity is only showing 49%, that gives the false impression that it really doesn't feel that bad outside. But once you step out this door, you're going to see that it actually feels quite uncomfortable outside. Another example, if you've got a 50-degree air temperature, a dew point temperature of 50 degrees, you check your phone or your weather app and you see that the relative humidity is 100%, that's also going to give a false impression that it doesn't feel good outside because the relative humidity is at 100%. You think the air is saturated, which it is, but it still doesn't feel that bad. That's why dew point temperature is a much better representation to communicate how it actually feels outside to you. And it's a pretty simple scale. In fact, we go from basically the higher the number, the worse it feels outside. So for example, right now, our dew point temperature is at 69. That's a pretty high number, and it would put it up here in this humid category, to where if you walk out the door and you feel that 69-degree dew point, you're going to feel every bit and probably look a lot like this guy right here, rather uncomfortable and rather sticky.
Well, AI can do a lot from helping you organize your day to generating images. Well, meteorologist Christian Bridges explains how the technology can help meteorologists with more accurate weather forecasts.
AI has seen massive growth in the past few months, and weather forecasting stands to benefit. Let's talk about some of the changes AI is bringing to the world of weather forecasting. First, AI can analyze much more data than traditional models, and this will lead to more accurate forecasts. As the more data we put in, the more likely the forecast will be accurate. Another big change will be in speed. AI models can analyze all of that data in a much faster time frame, leading to more frequent forecast updates and better warning times for severe weather. And because of the massive amount of data AI models analyze, they're better able to recognize patterns in the weather and correct biases that we see in our current weather models. The better a model understands the current weather, the better the forecast of the future, and AI models will now be able to use up-to-the-minute data to further improve forecast accuracy. All of these factors will play into Google's new DeepMind AI hurricane model. And here's an example of the improved accuracy using Hurricane Helene from last year. You can see how the AI model in blue was incredibly close to the actual track of Helene in black. On average, the AI model was more than 85 miles closer to the actual storm location compared to current leading models. The intensity forecasts are also much better than traditional models, and in a big way, as you can see here, with the traditional model highly underestimating the intensity of Helene, with the AI model getting really close. The National Hurricane Center will be using these new AI tools this hurricane season, so expect even better and more accurate forecasts.
Well, for all the latest weather news and video, be sure to check us out on social media. Just search the National Weather Desk. Well, coming up here on the National Weather Desk, so far it's been a quiet hurricane season in the Atlantic, but that could change. We'll show you what to do now to make sure you and your family are prepared when storms arrive. And we'll also help you better understand something called corn sweat.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We're tracking warmer and more humid conditions in the coming days and a greater risk for thunderstorms. The back edge of morning showers in New England, they're moving out. The clouds will be slow to break for a good chunk of New England. We're brightest over western zones. There we're warmest as well. The time frame to watch for thunderstorms will be Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. Some of these storms here may become strong to severe with damaging wind and the potential for hail.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Continuing this unsettled pattern, we'll see scattered showers and thunderstorms roughly each day going through Wednesday afternoon and even into Thursday. Along this cold front, we could see some stronger thunderstorms with some severe potential. The damaging winds threat will be the highest, but we will be seeing temperatures soar from the 70s to the low 90s on Wednesday. Could even see some mid to upper 90s approaching Thursday.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with a look at your southeast forecast. Another hot and humid one for most of the southeast with sea breeze-driven showers and thunderstorms, particularly across the Gulf Coast and into central Florida as well. With a line of showers and thunderstorms possible across the Mississippi River Valley heading into Thursday morning. Most of those storms will push their way towards the Gulf Coast into Thursday evening. Here's a look at afternoon highs across the area heading into Wednesday afternoon with temperatures in the upper 80s, low 90s across central Florida.
Watching the National Weather Desk.
In Delray Beach, Florida, a fisherman recently reeled in an extremely rare catch. So she's been casting lines for more than 2 decades, and this is the first time that she has seen the elusive moonfish. Jamilka Gibson has that story.
It started as a typical swordfish trip for longtime angler Laurel David, who's been casting lines for more than 20 years.
We rigged up some baits and got everything ready to go, trolled out to the spot, and we dropped some baits down. We didn't have any action on our first drop.
But on her final drop of the day off Fort Lauderdale waters, this fishing veteran got a bite she never expected.
Honestly, when it was coming up, it was acting like a real nice swordfish and, you know, doing a lot of the same things and the same behaviors. The driving was pretty much essentially the same as it would be on a big swordfish like that.
What she landed was a showstopper, a rare Opa, weighing in at about 148 pounds.
I've been dreaming of catching one of those since I was a little kid. I don't even have words, I'm speechless. It's incredible. It really is an amazing sight.
Reed Brand works at Captain Clan's Sun Seafood Market in Delray Beach.
I couldn't believe it. It's absolutely insane. It's the equivalent of seeing Bigfoot. I think there's more Bigfoot sightings a year than there are Opa sightings in Southeast Florida.
He says Opa live in deeper waters and that sightings and catches of the only fully warm-blooded fish known to man are extraordinary.
I've only heard of one other instance in my entire life of working in the commercial seafood industry in Southeast Florida where they caught one of these fish.
Wow. Well, we are nearly 3 weeks into hurricane season, and we've talked plenty about having an emergency plan in place, but now is the time to take action to try and prevent any issues that may come from your front lawn. Connor Ingalls spoke with a tree removal expert about what to look for in your yard before a storm comes knocking.
Leif Bennett has spent more than 4 decades removing trees along the Carolina coast, so he could pretty much write the book on which trees cause problems during a hurricane.
You can't see it behind us, but there's a dead tree that doesn't have very many leaves on it. This time of year, all the trees should be full. If they're not full of leaves, then it's unhealthy. And unhealthy means it's going to fall down sooner or later.
He says the biggest troublemakers are trees that are hollow, as they're more susceptible to falling victim to high winds.
They should look for trees with holes in them. They should look for trees If they have big cavities in them or holes in them, they probably need to be taken down.
And be particularly weary of anything within 30 feet or so of your home, depending, of course, on how big your trees are.
If you got 100-foot trees in, they need to be 100 foot from the house, but we got to have trees. Of course, you can't cut all the trees down, but dangerous trees close to your house are bad.
To Leaf's point, there are ways to make your yard safer without actually taking a tree down.
We can get in the tree and thin it out so when the wind actually blows, it blows through the tree instead of blowing the tree over.
Whether it's thinning or removing, you'll want to get it done now, while you or Leaf still can.
Every time we have a storm, I've talked to people that wish they had taken care of some trees that end up on their houses and such, cars. You know, because it can be prevented. A lot of it can be prevented, but it's got to be done before the storm comes. Because when the storm starts getting close, the phone starts ringing, but I can't do it so much. So people think I'm a miracle worker, but I'm not.
Well, hurricane season is also corn sweat season, and it's something you might be you might not be familiar with unless you live in the Midwest, where farmers grow several acres of corn. Hagen Zeineker explains what it is.
This term was created to describe the high humidity created by the evapotranspiration from corn. Last year, an estimated 91.5 million acres of corn was planted in the United States, a majority of which was planted here in the Midwest, in an area designated as the Corn Belt. Just 1 acre of corn can produce up to 4,000 gallons of water vapor and release it into the atmosphere. And as a result, the air in this region can experience a massive increase in the relative humidity, which can moderate the real temperatures, but this can result in a massive increase in the heat index, in which that makes the temperatures feel much more hotter and also the air feel much more tropical, even in the nighttime hours. This can even be shown on dew point maps, where pockets of higher dew points appear over areas where there are more crops, and of course an increase in evapotranspiration. This has also been linked to increased chances for rain, thunderstorms, and even severe weather. So in short, corn plants and other foliage can affect the temperatures as well as precipitation chances.
Well, during the late spring and early summer months, some people think that heat can lead to lightning, well, often called heat lightning. But heat actually can't cause lightning. Meteorologist Noah Hawk explains what's causing the lightning on these very hot days.
So let's take a scenario of something very common that we've seen a whole lot here in the last couple of weeks. It's going to be the afternoon time. You're starting to see a pop-up thunderstorm or two, and it's going to have a whole lot of lightning. Typically that cloud-to-ground lightning and a very loud boom of that thunder. But when it comes to heat lightning, it's typically going to be after that sun has set. It's a storm very far away, so you can see the lightning, but you can't hear that boom of thunder, and it's typically going to be on a very hot and very humid night. So a lot of people tend to theorize that all of that heat is what is the cause for that lightning. And although heat can help bolster a stronger storm, it's not going to be the direct cause of that lightning. It's still going to be the difference in the charges between that negative and positive ion, and still going to be when you get those two to connect, you're going to get the vivid flash of that lightning. But instead of seeing that cloud to ground lightning, you're going to see more of that cloud to cloud lightning. So it can be in that vertical space or even in the horizontal space as well.
Well, if you're looking to enjoy the wonders of Florida during the summer, you might want to check out the largest public garden space in New England. Meteorologist Ryan Munn tells us all about it.
The coastal Maine Botanical Gardens in Booth Bay sits on more than 300 acres of land, and with over 100,000 different plants spread out across the sprawling property, you'll never run out of things to see. One example is the Jefferson Diphylla, which horticulture director Andrew Brand describes as an exquisite plant that can spread quickly with some help.
When the seeds get ripe, the hinge kind of opens up, and then you can see all the seeds inside. And then they're dispersed by ants. And then they grab the seed with that structure, take it back to their nest, leave the seeds. So then you end up finding these plants throughout your woodland garden because of the ants.
That's just one of the things to see at the largest botanical garden in New England. There are some interesting trees as well, including the eastern redbud, which is native to the southeast.
The new growth is coming out. The leaves are like perfect heart-shaped foliage, which is really pretty. It grows to about 20 to 25 feet tall and just beautiful this time of year.
There are also art exhibits, like these supersized trolls hidden amongst the trees and made of mammoth recycled wood, creating a sense of wonder as you wander through their property.
Well, time now for a short break, but first we soar over Coney Island, New York.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael, watching the potential for some strong thunderstorms pushing their way into the Ohio Valley for the day today. So make sure to stay weather aware for the potential for some strong and gusty thunderstorms. This is going to be for the day today. We're seeing a lot of high temperatures in the 80s across the Midwest, and then it starts to get a lot hotter heading into your Thursday and weekend here with a few thunderstorms there across the north.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. It's a little bit of a steamy morning all the way from Brownsville back to San Antonio into Midland, even El Paso at about 82 degrees early in the morning. Storms again for Oklahoma and into Arkansas. Weak cold front kind of pushes down toward the south. Isolated scattered showers down to the southeast. It's going to be another hot and summery day. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. That's a look at your regional weather.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Stella Sun. We're expecting light rain towards parts of the Pacific Northwest. Meanwhile, high pressure will continue to build towards the desert Southwest. That means extreme heat warnings, temperatures 5 to 10 degrees warmer than normal, as well as high fire danger through parts of the Four Corners region. Daytime highs will be 112 degrees in Phoenix, triple ones in Las Vegas, 70s from San Francisco down towards San Diego, and we're expecting the upper 60s in Seattle. That's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Well, you've heard of strong and severe storms, but what's the difference between the two? Meteorologist Riley Blackwell explains.
So we get them all year around, but especially in summertime, we get a mix of strong and severe storms. But when we get down to the technical aspect, what exactly is the difference? So for a thunderstorm to be officially classified as a severe thunderstorm, you have to have winds of 58 miles per hour or greater, hail at least an inch in diameter, about the size of a quarter, or the potential for a tornado within a thunderstorm. Looking at this radar image, we don't really see any indications of large hail. Yeah, we have 216 lightning strikes being focused from Shelby County to Walker County and Coleman County, but lightning is not an indicator of a severe storm. Now, let's take a look at the velocity data, the wind data. 37 miles per hour, 32 miles per hour, 31 miles per hour, 42 miles an hour. We've had extremely saturated ground, so it does not take 58 mile per hour winds or greater to cause significant power outage numbers.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Eileen Whalen. I hope you have a great day, and I can't wait to see you right back here tomorrow.